Okay, let's start this lesson video by answering this question. Can we combine these functions? What do you think? Yes, we can combine these two functions. But how? Of course, using the four basic operations. What are those four basic operations in math? Addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. So the focus of this lesson video will be the operations on functions and the composition of functions. So in this lesson video, we're going to combine functions using addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And of course, we have here the composition of functions. We'll get through of this in this lesson video. So let's jump into it. So these are the four operations that we will be using in combining functions. First, we have the sum. It means that we have to get the sum of f of x and g of x. And for the difference, of course, we have to get the difference of f of x and g of x. Then for the product, we have to get the product of f of x and g of x. Then lastly, we have the quotient. And there is a restriction here. G of x should not be equal to 0. So, hindi daw pwede maging 0 si function na nasa denominator. Why is that so, class? What do you think is the reason? It's because if the function in the denominator is 0, then this function is undefined because any number or expression when divided by 0, the result is always undefined. So take note of that. So let us now try this. Given these two functions, f of x is equal to x plus 6 and g of x is equal to x squared minus x minus 42, in number 1, you are asked to find the sum of these two functions. So this expression can also be expressed as f of x plus g of x. So let's do the substitution, class. F of x is x plus 6, while g of x is x squared minus x minus 42. Then what do we do next? We combine like terms. Again, we can only combine like terms. And ibig sabihin ng like terms ay parehas yung variable and at the same time, parehas yung exponent. So, this term can be combined with this, right? Because they have the same variable and at the same time, they have the same exponent, which is 1. Then, this term can be combined with this because they are both constant. Pero si x squared, walang pwede i-combine sa kanya kasi wala naman siyang kaparehas na term. Okay? So let us now simplify this. Copy first x squared. Your final answer should be arranged in the descending order of the power. Okay? So uunahin natin si x squared. Then, x minus x, cancel na siya. Next, 6 minus 42, it's negative 36. Is there any other terms that can be combined? Wala na, class. So this is now the final answer. So number 2, this time you are asked to perform subtraction. So we have f of x minus g of x. When subtracting two functions, class, you have to consider which one is the minuend and which one is the subtrahend. Hindi pwedeng ma-interchange sila. So in this case, since nauna yung f of x, dapat unahin nyo rin yung f of x. So let's continue. F of x is x plus 6 minus g of x is x squared minus x minus 42. Another thing, class. In subtraction, you have to enclose the subtrahend in parentheses. Okay? Why? Because you still have to distribute this operation to each of the terms of the subtrahend. Sa addition, hindi na yun kailangan gawin. So, ginagawa lang natin to sa subtraction. So, we copy first the first function, which is x plus 6. Then, distribute now the operation to each of the terms of the subtrahend. So, negative times positive x squared, we get negative x squared. Next, negative times negative x. Same sign, so we get positive x. Negative times negative 42, again, same sign, so it will become positive 42. So we can now combine like terms. So which terms can be combined? X can be combined with this. The constant terms, 6 and 42, can also be combined. And dito sa negative x squared, walang pwedeng i-combine sa kanya kasi nag-iisa lang siya. So we just copy it. Then x plus x is 2x. Bakit naging 2x? As I told you, if the numerical coefficient of a variable or of a term is not visible, it is understood to be 1. So 1x plus 2x, we get 2x. Then lastly, 6 plus 42 is positive 48. So since wala naman ang pwedeng i-combine dito, this is now the final answer. Okay, I hope it's clear to you. Sana nakakasabay pa. Let's have number 3. In this case, you're going to get the product of the two functions. It can be expressed like this, or simply f of x, then use asterisk, then g of x. So you can use either of these two. Okay, so we copy f of x, which is x plus 6, times g of x, which is x squared minus x minus 42. So, hindi na ako gumamit ng asterisk dito kasi once na may parenthesis naman, both function, the operation is understood to be multiplication of. Okay? So, in this case, we have to multiply this binomial by this trinomial. So, how do we do that? We first multiply the first term of the binomial to each of the terms of the trinomial. Okay, let's do it. X times x squared. Again, in multiplying two expressions, we add the exponents. So as I told you before, there is an exponent here, which is 1. So 1 plus 2 is 3. So we get x cubed. Next, x times negative x. Unlike sign, so we get here negative x squared. Then x times negative 42 is negative 42x. Then what's next? Dito naman tayo sa second term ng binomial. We have to multiply the second term of the binomial by each of the terms of the trinomial. So 6 times x squared is simple enough, it's 6x squared. Next, 6 times negative x is negative 6x. Then lastly, 6 times negative 42 is negative 252. Okay, what's next? Combine like terms. This term can be combined with this. And this term can be combined with this. Then walang maiko-combine sa x cube and wala din maiko-combine sa constant na ito. So let's continue. Copy x cube, combine the second term and the fourth term. Negative x squared plus 6x squared, it's positive 5x squared. Then negative 42x minus 6x is negative 48x. Then simply copy the constant term. And this is now the final answer. So in this topic class, it's very important that you know how to manipulate equations. Then number 4, this time you are asked to find the quotient of the two functions. So we have f of x divided by g of x. So we copy the first function, which is x plus 6. Then g of x is x squared minus x minus 42. Ma'am, paano naman po ito isosolve? When it comes to division class, first thing that you have to do is to factor each function if possible. So kung pwedeng ma-factor yung functions, i-factor. Why? Kasi titingnan natin kung may pwede bang i-cancel para mas maging simple yung function. So, is the numerator factorable? X plus 6? No. So, we copied x plus 6. Kadalasan class, pag linear, wala na siyang factors. Unless, example, 2x plus 6. So, this is a linear expression, right? When we say linear expression, the highest exponent of the variable na nandiyan is only 1. So, this is a linear expression. Nagkakaroon lang siya ng factors if the numerical coefficient of the variable x and the constant term have common factors. May common factor ba si 2 and 6? What are the factors of 2? Only 2 times 1. How about 6? The factors of 6 can be 6 times 1 or 2 times 3. So, ano yung factors na pareha sila meron? It's 2. So, ang mangyayari, to get the factors of this, we write the common factor first, then put an open and close parenthesis. What are we going to put inside this parenthesis? Get the quotient of the first term and the common factor. So we divide the first term of this binomial by the common factor, which is 2. So 2x divided by 2, we get, cancel this out, we get x. So we write here x plus. Next is you have to divide the second term of this binomial by the common factor. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. So this is now the factors of this expression. Pero in this case, class, since wala namang common factor, si numerical coefficient ni x, and then si 6, wala siyang factors. That's why we only copy x plus 6 here. Then how about the denominator? X squared minus x minus 42. Let's try to get the factors of x squared minus x minus 42. So how do we factor a trinomial? In this case, you're going to think of the factors of the first term. In this case, the first term is x squared. Now, what are the factors of x squared? Kailangan nating hatiin si x squared sa dalawa. So, we put here x and x because x times x is x squared. Next, to get the second terms of these binomials, we have to consider the last term of the trinomial. So, what are the factors of 42? The factors of 42 are 42 times 1, 7 times 6, 21 times 2. Hindi ko lang sure kung meron pang ibang factors yung 42. But considering these 3 pairs of factors of 42, alin kaya dyan sa pairs ng factors na yan ang pag-inad mo or minus mo, makakakuha ka ng sagot na 1, which is the numerical coefficient of the middle term of this trinomial. It's 7 times 6. So we write here 7 and 6. Pag sinubtract mo ba si 7 and 6, makakakuha ka ng 1? Yes. Kaya yan na yung kailangan natin kunin na factors. Now, paano naman yung operations? Pagdating sa operations na nitong dalawang factors na to, we consider this operation and this operation. Since ang last term ay negative, ibig sabihin, isa dito sa factors na to ay positive at ang isa ay negative. Pero alin kaya yung dapat na maging positive, alin kaya yung dapat na maging negative? This time, i-consider nyo yung middle term, yung sign ng middle term. Since ang middle term ay negative, ibig sabihin, yung mas mataas na value, yan yung negative. So in this case, it's 7. So it should be x minus 7 and x plus 6. These are now the factors of this trinomial. So we write here x minus 7 and x plus 6. Look at the resulting expression. What do you notice? May expressions ba na pwedeng i-cancel out? Yes. And that is x plus 6. So we have now 1 over x minus 7 as the final answer. Ma'am, bakit po nagkaroon ng 1 sa numerator? Kasi kahit kinancel out mo yung expression sa numerator, meron at meron siyang matitirang 1. Okay? Take note of that always. Then we copy yung natira, which is x minus 7. That's why we have this. So it's quite confusing, pero madali lang siya pag alam nyo kung paano gawin yung factoring and kung alam nyo kung paano mag-combine ng like terms. So dapat mag-review kayo sa algebra, specifically factoring and combining like terms. Okay? So that's it. Another example. If f of x is equal to x squared minus 5 and g of x is equal to 5x plus 4, find number 1, f plus g of 3. Number 3, it should be 2. Number 2, f minus g of 5. So what do you notice in this example? Since there is a defined value here, kasi diba dito, variable x lang yung present. May defined na values na dito this time. So what does it mean? It means that after performing the operation, you have to evaluate the resulting expression at 3. So let's try to perform addition first. It means that you have to get the sum of the two given expressions, f of x and g of x. Then after that, when you get the resulting expression, you have to evaluate that at 3. Okay? So let's find first the sum of these two expressions. So f of x is x squared minus 5 plus g of x is 5x plus 4. Combine like terms. Copy x squared. Wala namang ibang terms na pwede i-combine dyan. Also, copy 5x. And negative 5 can be combined with positive 4, and that is negative 1. So this is not yet the final answer. Kasi nga, as I told you, we still have to evaluate the resulting expression at 3. So copy the resulting expression and then do the substitution. we replace the variable x by 3. So, we write here 3 raised to 2 plus 5 times 3 minus 1. Then simplifying, 3 raised to 2 is 3 times 3. Okay, it's not 3 times 2. It should be 3 times 3. You have to multiply 3 2 times by itself. So 3 times 3 is 9. Plus 5 times 3 is 15 minus 1. So what is now the final answer? The final answer now is 23. So that's it for example number 1. Let's have example number 2. This time you are asked to get the difference of the two functions, then evaluate the resulting expression at 5. So f of x minus g of x. Substitution, x squared minus 5 minus 5x plus 4. Then again, do not forget to enclose the subtrahend in parentheses. Copy x squared minus 5, then distribute the operation to each of the terms of this binomial. Negative times 5x is negative 5x. Then negative times positive 4, we get negative 4. So combining like terms, we have x squared minus 5x, negative 5 minus 4 is negative 9. So let's evaluate this expression at 5. So we copy the expression, then replace the variable x by the value 5. Then simplify. 5 raised to 2 is 5 times 5, so it's 25. Negative 5 times 5 is negative 25, then copy minus 9. Simplifying, cancel this out, the result now is negative 9. So this is now the answer in number 2. So as simple as that. That's all for operations on function. Let's come now to the composition of functions. So this is another method of combining functions. But this is different from the previous slides. Kasi diba, on the previous slides, we just use addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division directly. Here, we will be given two functions, but we will use one of that functions as the input of the second function. So, ibig sabihin, let's say, for example, itong function na g of x, yun yung isa-substitute natin sa f of x. And this is now the composite of functions f and g. So let's try it. Example, f of x is equal to x squared minus 1, g of x is equal to 3x plus 2. Then in A, you are asked to find f of g of x. Can also be expressed as this one. So, in this case, ibig sabihin, itong inner function, yan yung isa-substitute nyo sa variable na present sa outer function na ito, which is f of x. So, first step is to copy the outer function. So, which of these two functions is the outer function? It's f of x. So we copy x squared minus 1. And what is the inner function? It's g of x. So si g of x, yan yung magiging input natin sa f of x. It means that we have to replace this variable by this function. Okay? So let's do it. So instead of writing x, isa-substitute na natin si g of x, which is 3x plus 2. 3x plus 2. Then do not forget the exponent. Then copy minus 1. Okay. In this case, you have to get the square of this binomial. we can simply perform squaring a binomial or the FOIL method. Kung alin man dyan yung mas madali para sa inyo. So let's perform the FOIL method. In my case, I'll be using the FOIL method. So we have here 3x plus 2, then 3x plus 2. Bakit ma'am dalawa? Kasi nga may exponent tayo dito na dalawa. Okay? So F stands for the first terms. 3x times 3x is 9x squared. O stands for the outer terms. 3x times 2 is positive 6x. I stands for the inner terms. So 2 times 3x is also positive 6x. And L stands for the last terms. So 2 times 2 is 4. Combining like terms, we get 9x plus 12x plus 4. Bakit naging 12x? Kasi kinumbine natin itong dalawang similar terms. We have 12x. So we write here 9x squared plus 12x plus 4, but we still have here minus 1. Then again, combine like terms. We copy 9x squared plus 12x. Combine these two constant terms. 4 minus 1, we get positive 3. So this is now the answer. I'll show you how to perform squaring a binomial. This is another method to expand this or to square this binomial. So here, you first get the square of the first term. So which one is the first term? It's 3x. So we square the first term. Then to get the middle term, we multiply the exponent by the first term and by the last term. So 2 times the first term times the second term. Then we copy the addition symbol. Then to get the last term, we square the second term of this binomial. So it's 2 raised to 2. So simplify. 3x raised to 2 means 3x times 3x. So it's 9x squared. Plus 2 times 3x times 2 is 12x. Then square the last term. 2 raised to 2 is 4. Tumugma ba? Yes, parehas. So, kahit alin doon sa dalawang method, pwedeng-pwede niyong gamitin. Kung alin yung mas madali para sa inyo. Let's have the last example. This time, you are asked to find g of f of x. So, it means that f of x this time will be the input of g of x. So, again, what is the outer function here? It's g of x. So, we copy 3x plus 2. And since the inner function here is f of x, it means that we have to replace this variable by f of x. So we have 3 times x squared minus 1 plus 2. Then in this case, you have to multiply this value to each of the terms of this binomial. So 3 times the first term of the binomial, which is x squared, we get 3x squared. Then 3 times negative 1, we get negative 3. Then copy plus 2. Combining like terms, we get 3x squared minus 1. Bakit naging negative 1? Because negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. So this is now the final answer in letter B. So that's how you perform composition of functions. That's it for this lesson video. Thank you so much for listening.